What the heck's taking you so long? We gotta go! Pack!
Hi, Aaron here. I'm on the run from an evil corporation, and I had to pack everything that I could in just 5 minutes to get out and get gone. So here's what I packed. I gotta hurry. Stupid zipper. Okay, so here's what I've got. I've got my Nintendo Switch, Animal Crossing Edition. I've got a PSP. I've got my 3DS XL and a bunch of games. This is full of Switch games, about 70 of them. 2DS XL. You know what? I forgot to pack PSP games. You know, I don't think these are going to fit, but maybe just the loose discs, right? And that's really what I want to talk to you about today. If you had to leave in 5 minutes and get rid of or abandon all of your cool stuff, what would you choose? So I got thinking about maturing as a gamer and as a collector and what that really means. And some people, as their collections grow, those collections mushroom as they add on more and more and more systems and libraries and accessories and toys and collectibles of all sorts, statues and collector's editions of games. The possibilities are just absolutely endless as to what you can collect. And if you have the money and the passion, you can collect anything to your heart's desire. But I have observed with myself that as I have become more mature as a collector, I know what I like, and I know what I don't like, and I know what I want to play, and I know what I'm just never going to get around to. So let me tell you a little quick story about how I got started as a collector. I left the gaming scene for about 15 years after the end of the 16-bit generation, the 4th generation. I did have a PS1 and I enjoyed it. I have a lot of great memories with the PS1, but I only had about 8 to 10 games, including things like Parasite Eve, Final Fantasy VII, Twisted Metal, Gran Turismo 1 and 2. I didn't have a whole lot of games for the PS1. I certainly didn't experience even the, close to the total library at the time. I did rent games. Wait, I said rent? Yeah, you could rent games back in the day. So, I rented a few games, I owned a few games, but by no means did I experience everything that the PS1 had to offer. And then I took this 15-year break in gaming and came back to it towards the end of the 7th generation. I had missed most of the PS2 generation, all of the PS3 generation, and we're moving into the PS4 as I really started to get passionate about gaming again. So, for me, I went crazy, and I know so many collectors do the same thing. Just absolutely go crazy, trying to fill in all those gaps in what you missed as a child, what you loved as a child, games that are super expensive now that you wish you could own, and the hunt is real. So many people are out there pounding the pavement, trying to fill in all those holes. Not only the stuff that they're nostalgic for, but the stuff they missed out on. There's two very different things, and two very different motivations for collecting. So when I started collecting, obviously I went back to the PS1 and then the PS2, and I started collecting all sorts of games that I had loved and that I had heard were great that I missed out on. And then I, at that point, hadn't really heard anything about systems like the Sega Saturn. I didn't really know anything about it. I mean, I was aware of its existence, but I did not know that it was a hot collectible commodity item. So, of course, I picked up a Sega Saturn because I just had to know more about the system. I had to experience what it had to offer. Then I picked up a Dreamcast and an original Xbox because Metal Jesus said Crimson Skies was a must-play. And on and on and on. I picked up a TurboGrafx because I actually grew up on a TurboGrafx. It was my first system that I bought as a child, and I wanted to relive that magic, of course. And little did I know that the TurboGrafx was ridiculously expensive, even 6 or 7 years ago, to start collecting for. So, where I started from was picking up games left, right, and center, and just filling shelves with all kinds of stuff that I had no idea whether I was going to like it or not, but it just seemed so incredibly cool and collectible to go out there and pick up all of these $2 and $3 and $5 games, things on the PS2 and PS3 and Xbox 360 that were just ridiculously cheap at thrift stores and yard sales and all over the place. And before you knew it, I had north of 1,000 games, and I had barely played 20 or 30 of them and really enjoyed them. And that started as I got more into collecting and realizing I can't possibly own everything. At one point in my noob little collector's brain, I thought that I could own everything. Oh, there can't be that many video games out there, right? And who wants crappy old video games? Nobody wants video games. They're all $2, $5. Like, I didn't really realize what I was getting into. But as I matured as a gamer and I matured as a collector, I started to realize that there were some goals that I was never going to accomplish. I would never have a complete TurboGrafx 16 collection, even though the library in North America is pretty small. I gave up on the idea of having complete collections once I realized that not all the games in a library are good. In fact, some of them are so bad they're virtually unplayable. And then there's games like your sports games, your Madden 08, Madden 9, Madden 10, Madden 11, Madden 12. It's all the same game. You don't need to have all of these games unless you have some compulsion for a historical purpose to have a complete collection, and good on you if that's what your goal is. But for me, I want games that I'm going to play and enjoy. And really, over the years, I have downsized this collection behind me several times as I learned lessons about what I like and what I don't like. And I think a lot of collectors really come to this point that you really can't collect everything and you need to focus down on what you really love. For a while there, I was really passionate about the Wii U. I still am, but you know what? I set my Wii U aside for a while. I sent it to my daughter along with all the games. I gave a few of the games to my son Kaz, who you see here on the channel all the time, because I realized that I wasn't playing the Wii U. I have a Switch, and I have a 3DS, and I have a 2DS, and I have a 2DS XL, and I have a PSP, and I love handheld systems. Particularly, I really love the stuff from those early to mid-2000s, the DS library, the 3DS library, the PSP. I absolutely love what's available on those handheld consoles, and that is the stuff that I play, and that is the stuff I'm really passionate about. So I have other consoles represented up here. You can see Xbox One and Xbox 360, and down here we have some PS3. I absolutely love those consoles too, but I don't actively collect for them anymore. I have pretty much everything that I want, aside from a few games here and there that are hard to find or expensive. And honestly, I don't really play those consoles unless I have somebody coming over to do some couch co-op Call of Duty with me. So those collections are stagnant. The collections for me that are growing are, as I say, my Switch, my 3DS, my DS, my PSP. That's the stuff that's growing because I have found my niche. I really enjoy handheld gaming, and I really enjoy the libraries and what's really cool about discovering the hidden gems in those libraries and finding the deals. I absolutely love that. No longer am I going to a thrift store and buying every single game that's $3 off the shelf. I don't do that anymore. Now I am happy to put an expensive game that I really want on layaway and pay $30 or $40 or $50 a week for a few weeks and get that $150 or $200 game. So I've come to the point, truly, where if I had to move, if the government was after me or whatever, and I had to get out of this house in 10 minutes, I could literally do it in one box or one backpack if I absolutely had to. The games can come out of their cases and go in things like this. With 3 or 4 of these, because I've got 40 or 50 3DS games and 40 or 50 DS games, maybe 70 Switch games. As you see, maybe not too many PSP games, maybe 10 or 15. So all of this represents what I care about. And of course I care about the other stuff behind me. There are things that I would absolutely miss. My Captain Power collection here would obviously be missed, but I don't use it. It just sits there and looks pretty. And it sure does look pretty. But at the end of the day, I'm not focusing on making my game room look pretty anymore. I'm focusing on, at my age and where I am as a gamer, on stuff that I want to play, that I know I'm going to enjoy. My tastes have matured to the point where I can identify the types of games that I am going to love. A game like a farming sim, like your Harvest Moon type game. I've got one on PSP that, super intrigues me. Innocent Life. I picked this up for $5. A good game doesn't have to be expensive, but Innocent Life is a futuristic Harvest Moon, a sci-fi story, a farming sim. Super cool idea. That's the kind of stuff that really intrigues me. JRPGs, I love JRPGs, and there are so many great ones. I'm playing Radiant Historia right now on the DS, on my 3DS XL. It looks fantastic. I love the art style, I love the story, I love everything about that. And you know what? A game like that is going to take me anywhere from 40 to 70 or 80 hours to complete, depending on how much of a completionist I am. And honestly, I don't play for more than 5 or 6 hours a week in general. So one game like that is going to last me for months, like at least 2 months. So, there's really no reason to absolutely overwhelm yourself with trying to be able to afford all of this crap. Like, absolutely, if that's your thing, if you are a completionist, if you want complete collections of systems, I totally respect that from a preservation and a historical standpoint. But for me, I have come to the place where I only want to own things that I am going to enjoy. Not only enjoy playing, but just enjoy owning. And you know what? As much as I love the PS3 library, and I'm not going to sell these, I don't think, I'm not going to play most of them because I have, in many cases, better ways to play them. For example, one of my favorite games on the PS3 is Ni no Kuni, Wrath of the White Witch. Well, guess what? That's on the Switch now, and it's arguably at least as good a version, if not better. And it's handheld, which I absolutely love. I recently, just yesterday, because it just just launched yesterday, picked up Ni no Kuni 2, which was previously exclusive to the PS4. And that's the great thing about some of these systems going forward, and that's also why I'm picking up a Steam Deck. I've got a pre-order for a Steam Deck, and that will fit in here with the rest of this stuff too, and I can still make a clean getaway. Because you know what? The Steam Deck has access to like 20,000 games or something on Steam. Like unbelievable amounts of content that you can play on that. And it's handheld, and it can be plugged into the TV if you really want to. Same as the Switch, which gives me so many options. So I can narrow down my collecting focus to Switch, 3DS, PSP, and eventually Steam Deck, which is all digital, so it's not really taking up room on my shelves. But yeah, I have a Wii sitting over here. It's the only other console that I really have out on my tube TV. I packed up my Dreamcast, I packed up my original Xbox, I packed up my 360. I just don't use them. Like, I wanted the space in the studio. So, I have quite a few Wii games behind me here, and I adore the Wii. I absolutely adore the Wii. But I don't play games on the TV, like, ever. I want to sit on my couch with my handheld. So I'm not going to sell this collection because I adore it, but if I had to make a clean getaway, it would be the first thing to go. Same with my GameCube collection. You know what? I've got some expensive and desirable games on the GameCube, games like Pokemon XD and Fire Emblem Path of Radiance, but if they had to go, they'd be amongst the first to go. Because, bragging rights aside, I just want games that I'm actually going to enjoy. What games do you enjoy? Let me know in the comments. Have you matured as a gamer? Is this something that is even on your radar at this point? Or are you buying everything in sight, trying to build that massive wall of games You know, I've gone from well over 1,000 games down to about 400 or so, maybe 450 to 500. I've got most of my games into my GameEye collecting app, but I have not entered my Wii collection yet. Because I've just been changing over my GameEye because I got rid of so many games I had to redo it from scratch. What's in your GameEye collection, and what could you lose if you absolutely had to? Let me know down in the comments. Hit the like button if you would, hit the dislike if you think I'm an idiot, by all means. Subscribe if you haven't subscribed already. If this is your first time on the channel, there is all kinds of content just like this. This is a little bit more thoughtful video than I normally do, but by all means, hit that subscribe button. There are literally hundreds of videos for you to peruse on this channel, and check out NerdCrave Plus, where the Beeps and Bloops podcast lives. We put up a new episode every week. Beeps and Bloops podcast goes live on Twitch at twitch.tv/Canadian Cafe every Tuesday at 8 p.m. Eastern Time. And we'd love to see you there. Come and engage with us on Twitch, or watch the video on demand that shows up on NerdCrave Plus. Please go to NerdCrave Plus and subscribe if you would as well, so that you'll be notified when the Beeps and Bloops podcast is live and available for you to watch. Thanks so much, guys. Stay classy.